Hey, in this video, I'm going to show you all the supplies that you need in order to get started with calligraphy. I've actually taught calligraphy classes for the past 6 years, so in-person workshops. I've taught beginner calligraphers, advanced calligraphers, and I've taught hundreds of people, and so I've narrowed down a supply list for you that would be perfect if you're just getting started, but also if you're wanting to switch things up, these supplies are amazing as well. So make sure you stick till the end of the video. I am going to link a free download for you guys that is basically the exact guide that I give to all my in-person students who take my calligraphy workshops. You can download it, print it, and get right in that calligraphy for free. So make sure you stay tuned to the end to get that link. And let's get started. Okay, so to get started with calligraphy, you need a couple of tools. So let's talk about those tools. All of the supplies I'm about to tell you about are all linked below in the description. You can find them all on Amazon, so if you need the direct links, they're all linked below in the description. But these are the tools you'll need in order to get started with calligraphy. Again, if you stick till the end, you'll get the free guide that has all of the list of supplies in here as well as further descriptions on why I use the supplies. So let's get started talking about pen holders. I prefer to use straight pen holders. They have nothing in the way of your grip, especially if you're left-handed. I'm right-handed, but I've taught a lot of left-handed people calligraphy. There's just, the grip is right here. There's no elbow attachment like an oblique pen holder. An oblique pen holder looks like this. It has an elbow attachment where you insert the nib instead of straight down on the nib on the pen holder. And this elbow attachment gives your letters an automatic 45-degree slant, which is great if you really like italicized lettering, which I do. And you can still achieve italicized lettering with a straight pen holder. You just have to adjust your angle a bit more when it comes to the paper and whatnot. But an oblique pen holder is more difficult for lefties to get used to because it's kind of right up on their knuckles when they grip the pen. Just frustrating and annoying. You can still use it, but I've just found that I prefer a straight pen holder. I like the way it feels in my hand a lot better. Yeah, you can try out an oblique pen holder. It's made by the same brand. The brand I use is Speedball, and it's linked again in the description below. So it's a Speedball straight pen holder that I use, and it's a great place to start for beginners. Because you don't have that weird adjustment to get used to having something attached to the side of your pen holder. And then up next, we need the tip of our pen. So in calligraphy, the tip of the pen, this metal piece, pointed pen calligraphy, this metal piece is called a nib. This particular nib is called a brostino, or blue pumpkin is kind of like the slang name for it. Because it's blue, I'm not sure what the pumpkin is for, but it's called blue pumpkin as well. So you could search for blue pumpkin and it'd pop up, but linked below as well. So brostino is an incredible nib. I love this nib. It's great for beginners because it's not too flexible. The trick is when you're starting out with calligraphy is you don't want to be working with really flexible nibs because most beginner calligraphers are way too heavy-handed. They will put a lot of pressure. They'll dig the nib into the paper because you're supposed to just glide and be as light as possible on the paper when it comes to calligraphy. It's not like writing or signing a check or writing notes in class where you're pressing really hard into the paper with your ballpoint pen. With calligraphy, it's literally a piece of metal that's digging into the paper. So if you're putting any sort of pressure on the nib, especially on up and across strokes, it's going to cut and slice the paper and damage your nib. So as a beginner, you're just trying to get used to muscle memory and getting used to the techniques and all of that kind of stuff. So you want to start with a nib that's more on the stiffer side. So brostino is great for that. There's also Nico G, Zebra G are really great stiffer nibs for beginners, but I prefer brostino just because Nico G and Zebra G are really stiff. So I feel like it's gonna break my wrist. So I prefer brostino. I've been doing calligraphy, like I said, for about 6 or 7 years now, and I still use this nib. It's not just a beginner nib, it's for anybody really, but it's great for beginners. So let's dive in and talk about the actual parts an anatomy of your nib so you can kind of understand it before you get started with actually writing with it. So again, this is my Brostino nib. And if you have the guide that we have linked in the description and at the end of the video, you can download it and actually print it out and walk through this with me. But every nib at the top of the nib, so you want to enter the nib in the pen holder, you want to enter the nib at its base, obviously. So at the top here where it comes to a point, that is called the tip. And then in every single nib, you will have between the two shoulders, so on this nib, that'll be here, you have the vent hole. And at the top of the vent hole that connects the tip to the vent hole, you have a slit that opens when you put pressure on it. That's what's going to give your downstrokes weight and width to it. So when you put pressure on your nib, the slit is going to separate and you're going to get a really wide downstroke. A lot of beginners will keep the pressure still even on their up and across strokes, and that's what damages the nib. So it's really important that you don't put any pressure on up and across strokes. It's only on downstrokes, and I'm going to have a few videos coming out on techniques soon, so make sure to watch out for those so you can actually learn the techniques of calligraphy. So whatever nib you're using, make sure that this rounded edge here at the bottom of the nib, that's where you insert it into your pen holder. And also make sure that you come up to just below where the shoulders are, so you don't want to be down too far. So if your pen holder covers about half of the base, that's good. But if it's anything lower than that, it's going to be too flimsy and probably snap in half if you put too much pressure on it. So that's the anatomy of your nib. It's going to make a lot more sense if you watch future videos on my technique videos for calligraphy, so make sure you stay tuned for those. All right, so let's move on and talk about ink. My black ink is actually the only ink I use that's already pre-made in a bottle. So I buy black Sumi ink. It's actually a Japanese ink and it's wonderful. I love the consistency of this ink. Dries really nicely, doesn't, smudge when it's dry, etc. But if you're wondering, well, what do you do for colored inks? Make sure you go check out my video where I did a Mother's Day card. I actually show you in that video how to mix up your own colored inks using paint and water. Very good stuff, so check it out. But black ink, that's the only one that I buy pre-made in a bottle, mostly because, and I get this question a lot, but mostly because it's just such a good ink. Colored inks are really tricky to find a good one. I'm super particular and really picky about getting the consistency right and the thickness or the thinness of the ink. So I'm really particular and I just use my paint to water ratio method, which is pretty common. But again, if you want to try it out for yourself and maybe mix up a metallic ink or a pink ink or whatever it might be, go check out that video. We'll have it linked below. This ink is awesome. It comes in a green bottle like this, and you can buy it, I think, in either a 2-ounce bottle or a 12-ounce bottle like this. And all I do is these glass jars, you can also find in our description below. I just fill up these glass jars because nobody's about to dip their pen into this massive bottle. So I buy glass jars and they're really inexpensive. This ink is pretty inexpensive as well. I think this bottle of 12-ounce ink, 12 ounces of ink is around $10, $11. Not positive, but it's somewhere around there. And it lasts a really long time. Like, I don't have to fill up my ink jar for anywhere from 6 to 8 months, depending on how often I'm using black ink, but I write calligraphy a lot. So I, would go through it a lot faster or a lot quicker than the average calligrapher, I would say, or at least in my heyday when I was doing wedding calligraphy, I was going through it a lot. And it lasted about 6 to 8 months. So it can really last a long time, especially if you're just using it occasionally. So, if you're just using it occasionally, maybe only buy the 2-ounce bottle versus the 12, because this will seriously last forever. And then finally, what you need to get started with calligraphy is paper. My preferred paper for practicing calligraphy and scanning and digitizing my calligraphy and all of that is layout bond paper. You will see this paper on other videos in my channel just because I love this paper so much. I use it for illustration with micron pens and pencils, and I use it for calligraphy. It's really durable, it's suitable. So the main thing that you want to look out for when you're buying paper is you want to make sure that it's suitable for water-based inks, which is what calligraphy ink is. So down here you'll see recommended for marker or charcoal, pastel, etc. When it says marker, that means it's suitable for calligraphy-based inks because marker is also water-based, so it's not going to feather and bleed and get all yucky. A lot of people who are beginners and just starting out ask me, well, can I just use printer paper? Absolutely not. I mean, you can, it just won't look good. It'll come out all feathered and bleed all over the place. So if you want some good durable paper to practice on, this stuff is cheap. It's also semi-transparent, so if you print out my guide that I have linked for you, you can literally trace over all of the practice shapes, all of the letters. We even have grid line sheets for you so you can write in a straight line if you want to practice words, etc. So you can just tear out a sheet of this paper, put it on top of the booklet that you print out, and get writing in straight lines, or practice by tracing over the guides that I have for you in here. So I love this paper. Again, all of my supplies in this video are linked in the description below, so make sure you check that out. But again, it's semi-transparent, so it's not like tracing paper where it's completely see-through. There's still some sort of a map to it. But it's transparent enough so that if you are learning and you want to trace, which is a great way to develop that muscle memory, you can. So get your paper, tear out a sheet, put it on top of the guide, and start tracing your little heart out. And again, stay tuned for all my future videos coming out really, really soon on calligraphy techniques. We're going to do a 3-part series on calligraphy techniques that are going to be just what you need to get started if you're a beginner, and maybe if you need brushing up on your calligraphy techniques as well. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you download the free guide so you can get practicing and dabbling with your calligraphy supplies in the meantime. And thanks so much for watching this video.